Hey, these are I want to do a couple of stories again. Hey, Mark King here, and this is like by the Independent. I'm thinking I've never heard of Indie 100, so I'm not too familiar with it, but it says the Independent, right? This is by Serena Bergman, right? So you just have to read this headline, and I'll read for those who cannot see. And I'm one of these guys when I do sometimes I'm busy and like listening to things in the background, so I completely understand. Man creates world map centered on New Zealand and makes important point about colonialism, right? So all these things that you read are propaganda by untalented people, right? That's all this is. I think this was actually a pretty decent, well-written article, though, but it's it's just it's terrible in terms of like the point it's trying to make. Anyway, um, a long time FaceTime chat when you really need it. Okay, blah 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 nonsense. Okay, German geographer Simon Kutzmacher tweeted out a gift he made for his Kiwi friends. Okay, so what this is, he's trying to this person, he made a map. He's probably some crazy leftist lunatic, but he's trying to position how they say this. The map is kind of flipped sideways, so essentially north and south is now facing east to west. Okay, and east and west is now north and south. He's trying to center um, the New Zealand. I guess that's empowerment because New Zealand has a female prime minister. Empowerment once again. Okay. Ah. Anyway, this ties in the virus, and they call it the beloved leader, Ardern. Anyway, all this is just a BS article, right? But the holes in the logic. So no map is ever perfect. Oh, by the way, the reason this is how do I say this? This person claims why he did it. He specifically mentioned like green, how big Greenland is, and on the Mercator maps, it's Africa's small and Greenland when Africa is 14 times the size. So I guess that's equality. But these maps had a okay when you kind of I hope I'm saying this right. When you're trying to transpose something, especially land masses, you take something like 2D, make it a 3D, make something 3D into 2D. It's very difficult. Okay, people still don't know the actual size of continents. You know, where does it begin? Where does it end? You know, so this empowerment thing specifically mentions Africa, obviously, because white man bad, European bad, West is bad, communism good, feminism good. Okay. Anyway, the issue of Eurocentrism in cartography has long been highlighted by academics. Really, in 2017, Boston became the first U.S. district that changed the maps using public schools to become more reflective of their true scale. Okay. Because Mercatism was commonly used. Blah blah blah. So this is an explanation, right? There's no listen to this. There's no scientific reason why north is any more up than south. Equally, we could do east up, west up, or any other compass bearing. Huh. Purposely reversing the typical way the maps are drawn has a similar political effect to using the Peters projection, putting more developing countries in the general poor southern hemisphere at the top of a map, and so giving them greater significance. That's the quote. So Charlie Rose, the assistant superintendent of opportunity and achievement gaps, the Boston public schools, explain why this matters, telling the Guardian, when you continue to show images in the place where people's heritage is rooted, that is not accurate, and that has an effect on students. Maybe we can be an example for other school districts. Okay, so this boils down to think of the children. Nonsense. Nonsense. The same people that want to push death to how do I say this, unborn, right? Again, like I hate these euphemisms, right? It's really killing, okay? Right? Again, if you just change the words around, like this person's claiming here, right? If you simply change the words around to like from abortion to killing babies, you'll see probably 80% of women turn against abortion. It's just manipulation, right? So now this whole concept, again, this stuff is very evil, right? So there's certain common knowledge that we need to advance. This is already given to us. North is north. If you change these things, right, you'll set humanity back hundreds of years, right? People still use compasses, right? And it's just absolutely ridiculous. It's like you're finding grievances when none are there. You're trying to create reasons for why shouldn't people fail in life. Okay? This is ridiculous stuff. Okay? This is, again, these are attacks on 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 freedom itself, right? This stuff. Okay, you're essentially creating grievances when none previously existed. That's all this is. Okay? So I'm gonna tie this into more identity stuff, right? So I can get this out of the way. This is by, okay, I know it's a feminist site. I've seen a bunch of different places mention it. I'll just use Pink News just to get out of the way. Ancient Viking warrior given a hero's burial may have actually been transgender, non-binary, or gender fluid, researchers say. So I'll just summarize everything here. All this is really an attack, once again, an attack on European culture, specifically manly cultures, right? That's all this is, right? That's all these things are. Okay? This is just manipulation. Okay? So what they're trying to do here is create a feminized culture. When you have a feminized culture, your culture will fall because no feminized culture has ever existed and succeeded. So we know how this ends, right? You lose to the communists. Okay? So this is by Patrick Kelleher. Anyway, 3 years ago, the ornately dressed remains of a high-status Viking warrior. Okay, so I'll just summarize this, right? Some woman found some bones which she claimed to be Viking ancestry. She never allowed it to be examined by anybody else. So she made these claims. Right? This is from what I remember. So it was bull, right? It's just bull anyway. Following studies, it is assumed that the remains of the Viking warrior of those were females. I say it was a conquered whore, right? So anyway, so now this is going to cite some scholars. We all know how the academic field has just been overrun by social justice warriors, right? That's all this is. You can basically throw anything, any textbook that's probably been created past 2005 should never be used in the school system. The remains of the Viking may have been a trans man, according to a leading academic. Neil Price, a professor of archaeology at the University of Uppsala in Sweden, of course Sweden, claimed in his book that children Ash and Elm, A History of the Viking. Oh boy, okay. Alright, that remains might have been a trans. Okay, yeah, alright. These issues are relevant beyond that one person, that one grave, blah blah blah. But they threw this sharp relief how we now make connections between objects we find and gender. There is a question of how this person sees themselves. Anyway, you get the point of this. It's now Vikings are now with trans all along. or non-gender binary. We get this. This is propaganda. I've told this story earlier on. Like I went to this big university. It's it was for teaching, and there was someone who who got hired because of skin color, and he worked in the Obama administration because of his skin color, and he said some like really vile things. Like one of the things he said was he mentioned that we all know now finally that gender is just a social construct, and you see a lot of the black ladies like clapping their hands, cheering, say "You go, that's right," and I was shocked, right? Because I've only seen these things on like videos or YouTube, right? And sometimes you're shocked when you actually witness these things in real life. I live in a really heavy liberal area, but I just don't go to these areas. The little pockets everywhere. The point is, these crazy people are everywhere in academics. Okay, this person used the word leading academic loosely, right? This is nonsense, right? This is garbage. And it wasn't just the Pink News, other places that kind of picked up quote unquote the story to push an agenda. Okay, this is why I'm glad journalism collapses. Okay, in my belief system, it will actually be picked up again by real journalists before it's eventually destroyed again like it is currently. Right, journalism is dead. These are articles written by hacks. Share, save, subscribe, thumbs up, bye. Genders are social construct, my ass.